Originally, it was peaceful. I mean, 99 point something % peaceful, even though we were all expecting 100.
Why are you not uniformed? What is the reason? Because you are a serving officer.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. It's Friday, the first day of September 2023. This is Let's Talk Ghana, where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. And quite a heavy itinerary we have for you today in terms of content, but amongst many things that we're bringing to you today from Arusha, Tanzania. High Court rules on OSP's decision to freeze assets of Cecilia dapaah. The High Court says that the OSP did or took that action to freeze Cecilia dapaah's money and all of those things. It was wrong. As such, he must within 1 week take steps to unfreeze the accounts to give Cecilia dapaah back her money. Also, Boakye Agyarko in the 2nd September, what was supposed to be Saturday's rerun for himself and Adainimo, he's pulled out of that rerun, and we'll tell you why and seek to get explanations for you as well. Then the minority in Parliament, they've been speaking to the media after the police filed an injunction on the September 5 protest against the BOG governor. They said they'll go ahead nonetheless, and that the Office of the Special Prosecutor should investigate the central bank governor. Then we'll end with a leaked tape and the hearing which has been ongoing in Parliament. So a packed show for you. Eric Mawina. This is where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. We return and then we begin to get details. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. So we're starting with the special prosecutor and the Cecilia dapaah missing stash of cash in her home, because there's been updates for you in the last few hours that has to do with the High Court ruling that the special prosecutor unfreeze the account of Cecilia dapaah because the processes, the way he went about it, you cannot prove that the monies in the account of Cecilia dapaah are really stolen funds. As such, within 1 week, take steps to unfreeze the account. And so it's got a lot of people talking, but the Office of the Special Prosecutor as well has been reacting to this, and they've issued a statement some few hours after the ruling came out, and that statement is coming up on your screens right now, where amongst many things, they are challenging the decision of the High Court and they are ruling. Amongst many things, they say that the seizure by the OSP and the order on freezing of her account were effectuated on the very firm basis of reasonable suspicion that the amount and bank balances were tainted property, as Mrs. dapaah prevaricated as to the sources of the amounts she reported stolen from her residence. And so the last but one paragraph really of the special prosecutor's statement says that the freezing order was not based on public sentiment, rather it was based on court processes filed in a criminal matter before the Circuit Court, Accra, involving Madame dapaah as a complainant. Further, the freezing order was effected to aid the investigation as required by law, not on the basis of the investigation as indicated by the court. Therefore, it cannot be said that the OSP did not carry out proper investigations to warrant the freezing order. The investigation has only commenced and is ongoing. The OSP assures the public that it will take all necessary legal steps to ensure that the seized amount and the balances in Mrs. dapaah's account and investment are neither concealed, lost, or otherwise dissipated. So that's the Office of the Special Prosecutor reacting to the ruling of the High Court in that particular subject matter. It is a matter that we'll follow up on because they have a week to unfreeze their account? What happens within the week? Do they file a stay of execution? What does this mean? Is corruption fighting back? We'll be following up on these and bring you details if you stay with us. We'll move on to politics now and the aftermath of the first part of the governing New Patriotic Party's primaries. We know that there was a tie between Adainimo and Boakye Agyarko, and the National Executive Council of the governing New Patriotic Party met to decide as to how to go about that September 2 rerun, which was to come off yesterday, the 2nd of September, really, after the 26th of August, first part of the primary. Well, there was a number of decisions taken at that particular hearing. Let's just take you back to what happened, and also we'll hear from the chair of the disciplinary committee of the NPP, as well as they continue to take stock as to exactly what it is that transpired there. But just for your attention, it was decided that only the National Executive Council of the governing New Patriotic Party was to vote on September 2. Here's exactly what transpired, I would say, on Thursday, Wednesday, when the National Executive Council of the NPP met.
And you don't need
What do you make of it?
Well, generally everything went well. We have heard of some infractions, some few infractions here and there. You know, the General Secretary has officially referred it to us. We are yet to meet and then to do our own investigation and come out with our decision. But I don't want to comment on it now because we haven't gone into it. Okay. So,
but per your observations, do you think that it was, the conduct was peaceful?
Generally, yes. No, I wouldn't say that. I'm being careful about my comment on it. No, the fact that we recorded one or two infractions doesn't mean that we should throw our arms in desperation. Okay. Generally, it was peaceful. 99% peaceful. Even though we were all expecting 100%, peaceful situation. But
are you assuring us that your committee will look into the issues and then come out with a report?
That is obvious. I don't need to talk about that because that's what we are supposed to do. Once something happens and it has been referred to us, the committee will go into it. That's what I say. I will not comment on it.
But are you ready to crack the whip on whoever that is culpable?
That one, wait. When we get to the bridge, we shall cross it.
After that decision by the party, Boakye Agyarko said, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of this process. It is unconstitutional. It doesn't serve the interest of the governing New Patriotic Party. 961 delegates voted and there was a tie. Why should a little under 150 vote to decide or break the tie? That is unconstitutional, and so I'm not going to be a part of it. So he's pulled out of the race essentially and says that he's no longer going to be a part of that entire process, which meant that Adainimo was the only candidate left, and so the party decided that he was going to go ahead and be the only candidate in that matter, to be specific. Here is Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Apenyomakin, who's also a member of the Elections Committee of the party, speaking to the media on that particular decision to allow Adainimo contest alone. As well, he spoke in relation to ongoing processes having to do with Hobson Adoye, who's one of the individuals. If you'd recall, we gave you details as to how the party was inviting persons to the disciplinary committee over the 26th August primary. So he spoke to that as well. We can take a listen to Apenyomakin.
Okay, so the committee met today, and we received a letter from Honorable Boakye Agyarko. Same was referred to the party leadership, and a response has been issued. Basically, the party has responded to the concerns raised by Boakye Agyarko, and the response is basically that the National Council of the party acted within the confines of the Constitution, and that there's no cause for alarm. He having withdrawn from the race, I think that the Saturday elections now is placed on ice. It becomes otious. There's no need for any elections because now we have 5. On the second aspect of our job for today, we met with other members who gave us briefing on the happenings in their various centers of voting. If you may recall, as you may recall, we had some members coming up with some few issues here and there, and we had to listen to all parties. So we continued our hearing today, and we'll meet again, God willing, Wednesday to listen to some few others who have informed us that they will come. So far, that has been it. Like I said, those who had issues that we invited them, they came, we heard them. As to other matters, I'm unable to get into that. But we as a committee have a mandate to look into all concerns relating to the elections, and that is what we did today.
Well, can I do a point?
Was he satisfied with your response?
I wouldn't know.
Well, Kennedy Japan came a few days ago, and we just want to know: are you allowing sleeping dogs to lie? Because not much has really been said about his meeting with the election committee.
Right then, on that politics note, we'll be taking our very first break here on Let's Talk Ghana. When we return, the opposition NDC and the Ghana Police Service, they've been having a back and forth as we've been bringing you details of. What's their decision now? We'll tell you about it. Stay with us. This is Let's Talk Ghana. You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana. This is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. And so the opposition National Democratic Congress, the MPs in Parliament, they've been mooting the idea of a protest for some weeks now. They held a news conference, they wrote to the police. The police said there were disagreements with the routes. The minority said, look, we're going ahead nonetheless because these are routes that we've used in the past and there's no need for concern. We don't have to be raising alarms over protests or routes that we've been using since time immemorial. So we're going ahead nonetheless. But the police decided that, well, since you're not wanting to bring new routes, we're going to court. As has been the case, really. Recall that we've brought conversations to you about whether the police often more than not tends to abuse their power. Well, it appears that court route or that court route has been taken again by the police again. And so there's been an injunction placed on the September 5 protest by the NDC minority. And they held a news conference in relation to it, obviously not happy. And amongst many things, they've actually held subsequent news conferences where they say that the Office of the Special Prosecutor should be taking interest into the activities of the central bank governor. But here's that first news conference where they express absolute disdain and abhorrence to the police's decision to use the courts to stop their planned protest.
Well, the minority in Parliament has noted a deliberate attempt by the Greater Accra Regional Police Command to frustrate and scuttle our planned peaceful Occupy Bank of Ghana protest scheduled for the 5th of September. This follows an attempt by the Regional Police Command to injunct the protest at the Accra High Court on Monday, 4th of September, one day before the planned protest. It will be recalled that on the 21st of August, the Honorable Minority Leader, Dr. Atuforson, wrote to the police about our intention to protest on the 5th of September. Subsequent to this notice of public protest, the police invited the minority for a meeting, which meeting was honored by my good self and 4 other members of parliament. Though the meeting was cordial, the police gave flimsy excuses as to why the organizers must change the route for the protest, including their insistence that the protest cannot terminate at the head office of the Bank of Ghana, which is essentially an attempt to deny the leaders of the protest an opportunity to present their petition to the governor of the central bank. Following this, the police later wrote to the minority caucus unilaterally and provocatively deciding a route for the protest which was not discussed at their earlier meeting with the minority. The minority then wrote back to the police command reminding them of their constitutional duty to ensure that we protest peacefully and securely on the 5th of September. Just today at 4:05 p.m., we received a letter from the Ghana Police Service accompanied by a bailiff from the Accra High Court, who served a motion or notice for an order to prohibit our Occupy Bank of Ghana protest. We must say that we are very disappointed with this development, which is clearly an attempt to scuttle the protest, which is intended to hold the governor of the Bank of Ghana and his 2 deputies accountable for their mismanagement of the bank, which has resulted in an unprecedented and colossal loss of 60.8 billion Ghana cedi. An amount which has had serious consequences on the economy and pushed close to 1 million Ghanaians into poverty. Let us assure the people of Ghana that as representatives of the people of Ghana, we will keep our sacred duty. And indeed, we will. Our sacred duty to uphold the public interest.
And so the NDC MPs and the opposition, definitely it's something that we'll be keeping an eye on. What happens on September 5? Are they going to go ahead nonetheless and defy the court order, which is a suggestion that's been coming through from the conversations that we've been having? Well, we'll follow up on it and provide you a bit more details. But on the mention of the police, that's a reminder to you that for the entirety of this week, the committee, the 7-member committee put up by the Speaker of Parliament to investigate the alleged leaked tape seeking to orchestrate the removal of the Inspector General of Police, that committee has begun work. Boakye Agyarko was the first to appear before it on Monday, where he all but confirmed. He confirmed, he says, "Look, I'm a chief. I cannot lie. That recording is true. I did it myself, and I was going to take it to the president. He's the only person I took that recording to. I didn't take it to anybody else." And so he confirmed it, and so the committee is continuing its work. But yesterday, COP Mensa, one of the voices you heard in that clip, which we brought excerpts to you on some weeks ago, it should probably be over a month ago. You have to keep following. Perhaps you could go back to some of our previous editions of the show and just catch up, or easily just run a quick Google and really you'll be able to get stories. Not many people fancy dropping some of the sounds, and so you could go back to our previous episodes really and then be able to catch excerpts of the sound. Well, they've been sitting, and amongst many things that he said in that audio was that there's mafia works during elections. The committee asked him about it, and here was his response.
Commissioner, your junior colleague is in uniform, Superintendent Sari. Why are you not uniformed? What is the reason? Because you are a serving officer.
Honorable, my former deputy minister, as I said, I am leave pending retirement. I've been on leave for 3.5 months. As I speak, I don't do any police work. I don't wear police uniform. I don't go to police office. I'm in my house.
So you've surrendered your accoutrement to the state. Is that what you're saying?
I am supposed to surrender it on the 16th of September.
Very well. Now, let me take you back to the substantive issue. You see, captured in the audio, these are some of your own statements. Now, you said because I wouldn't want Doctor to become the flag bearer and then we lose the elections, then it goes on, gave you the position, break the 8. Meanwhile, this IGP is not correct. Alhaji, you dear, you have done politics. You know elections is not just, sometimes elections, mafia work is inside though. Alhaji. No, not at some time. As for that one, then you said, I am just saying. Then Alhaji comes in. Mafia work is inside, not on some time. It is not some time, it is. Then you said, yes. And this man sitting up there will not help our party to do anything. This man sitting up there will not help our party to do anything. This is captured in the audio. Do you agree to the fact that these statements attributed to you are captured in the audio which was played to your hearing, Commissioner?
Yes, I made it.
I made it, yes. Yes. Now, Commissioner, I want you to be candid with this committee. Like I said, we are not prosecuting you. So when you give indication in the audio that as for elections, it is about mafia work, can you tell us what you meant by that?
Honorable, I never said election is about mafia work. I said in elections, there is always some mafia work. I never said election is mafia work. And what do I mean by that? During elections, if you don't provide the needed security for people to come out and vote peacefully, and you allow people to come and disturb, to come and snatch boxes at your strongholds, then you are ending in opposition.
Well, on that COP Mensa note, we'll put or draw down the curtains really on today's edition of Let's Talk Ghana, the first day of the month of September. A happy new month to all of you who continue to follow and watch Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. We appreciate the views, we appreciate the comments and the feedback as it comes through. We're back again on Monday with perhaps a bit more clarity as to the protest and also clarity as to the NPP and all of the things that they've been up to. A number of the individuals demanding equality and fairness, but that's our show for you today. Eric Mawenagbeta from Arusha, Tanzania. And next week as well, we're seeking to provide a bit more details on the climate change and the summit in Kenya, Nairobi. And so do look out for it strongly. But many thanks for watching, as always.
Studios 2 TV. The truth is here in your eyes.